They they really are Christmas. So did Marissa. Wow. Woof. But you got a story now. Okay, so we're gonna start with Lindsay gone, I guess. So uh, I sent that little message. So do you guys remember uh, where we last left off there? Yeah, and while you guys were gone, the you were all went to the Three Taps Tavern to just kind of like the night's winding on. You need a place to stay, and while you most of the party was having kind of like getting into the swing of just relaxing there. Brielle and Castamere went on a wild adventure chasing a cat last time. So when you so as you guys are kind of like getting you're in this giant tavern that has it's called the Three Taps Tavern for a reason. It has three giant kegs in the center uh, with just taps on them. And the rules are you pay 2 gold and you just drink all you can drink for the night from it. And it's oh, there's a big ass spider here. Hold on, big ass spider. I'm gonna get rid of this thing. I could hear that. I had the headphones the whole time, but there's a spider. I didn't like it, so I went and shook it outside, and I didn't see it, so it might still be here. I don't know. I didn't buy it, so nice, nice. Yeah, this is why you're not licensed. You don't have the authority. I want to get one of those like powdered wigs. I feel like that might be interesting with it. So yeah, like glitter. Let me turn off this setting really quick so I can talk to you guys without holding this button. Yeah, getting character. I encourage. I had someone buy a wig once, so that was fun. Uh, so yeah, you're in the Three Taps Tavern, and the three of you are just starting to do. Do all of you pay for the experience? All right. Yeah. Yeah. So that didn't happen. That was one session prior. No, that was one session prior. Yeah. So that's one session prior, and we just kind of like you guys went to the inn just to kind of like it made sense to you guys need to have a place to stay. Yeah, so it's 6 days till the wedding. So you have 6 days to interrupt this marriage. While you guys were starting to get drinking, that's what happened last session. Is you guys were just kind of relaxing and partying, while Brielle and Castamere went off to catch this cat. And so yeah, so if you guys want to just pay your 2 gold, uh, you'll get a special mug that you can just fill all night at one of these 3 taps. There's wine, there's mead, and there's ale on these giant 3 kegs that like are near the center of the room with just a tap on them. And that's what the 3 Taps Tavern is known for. And in the middle center dais, it's raised up a little bit. And each night they have a different form of entertainment that usually involves crowd participation. And as well, Brielle and Castamere actually. So while you guys are getting your drink on, you see it's a it's very boisterous. It's very crowded. It seems to be like one of the most popular places in the city. Like a ton of people are packed here. It's kind of like a fraternity bar, like on a Saturday night. Very very kind of like packed. And you see kind of out of the corner, you lost track of Brielle and Castamere, but didn't think much of it. But as you see them again, they are kind of limping in, and Castamere has like some bruises. He has like a black eye. He has his chin bruised. He may have chipped a tooth back during that fight. Uh, I don't think Brielle took damage because you were a snake the whole time. So Brielle comes just flouncing in, just looking fine, maybe a little dirty from being in the alley. And Castamere comes in, having followed her on her wild adventure, just looking beat to hell. You win. That is true. I'm sure. All right. So Brielle, you kind of you kind of go to the barkeep, and he's like actually like a gnomish man. He's like about a little smaller than you actually, and he's sitting on this very tall bar stool behind. And you ask him about something a little smaller for the wee folks, and he gives you a little wink, knowing kind of what you're talking about. And he gives you a smaller cup just for you, and only charges you 50 silver or 10 silver, some silver. 5 silver. 5 silver. 50 silver is a lot more than 2 gold. So Jakuba pays the 2 gold. The guy gives you a little like look as you pay for 2 gold, shakes his head, thinking he's not going to get his money's worth out of this one. And Castamere, as you kind of stumble in a little battered and bruised, are you gonna partake in the 3 Taps Tavern tradition? Okay, so everybody who paid deduct the 2 gold. Yeah. They did. So you guys all kind of like get your mugs and your taverns, and you go to these 3 giant taps, and it looks to be like a 20-foot tall barrel, but it's just massive with a tap on it, and there's the 3 of them, and they're labeled with grapes, with honey, and with like a dark brown kind of like swirl for the respective drinks there. The suicide drink, yeah. Yeah, that sounds disgusting. The little gnome at the counter looks like offended that you even thought to do that. And yeah, so as you guys spend some time, there's kind of like some uh, just the crowd's kind of like getting into it. The night's going on a bit longer, and I need everybody to make a Constitution saving throw. So I'm gonna roll for that. So as you're drinking more and more, I will roll for Veruca. It'll be on your core stats there. So Veruca, you take a drink. It's probably like your third or fourth mug of mead, and you're just going strong. You rolled a 15 on that, so you're just not even bothered much by it. Jakuba, he did. So Brielle's sipping her little sippy cup, her little halfling sippy cup, and she's getting, as anticipated, pretty drunk here. Castamir is just pounding them down to kind of like numb his wounded face here, and so all of you are now drunk except for Veruca, who is still feeling a light buzz, but she's good to drive. Yeah, yeah, Jakuba, you're just filling it up. He's kind of gray with tattoos. And as you guys are kind of like going on, the gnome takes the center stage in the raised dais. And then he announces to everybody, he's like, "As you all know, today is karaoke night at the Three Taps Tavern. Winner, the winner of karaoke gets a 200 gold pot." And then he's like, "Thank you all for contributing to our fine prizes for the night." So it's pretty much open mic right now if you guys want to try your karaoke. You don't have to actually sing. It would just be your character trying. So Veruca the Bard goes up and just takes the stage strong. And Veruca, do you know how to use the roll 20 yet, or am I still rolling for you? I see that you're in here. Gotcha. You can see I'll still roll. What you Okay, I think I can show this to players. This is basically what you need up, Veruca. I think that should pop up to you. So there's a little dice button next to each one of these skills, and when I call for a skill, you just click it, and then you like drag on the board and it'll roll for you. So I'm going to ask you. She doesn't have a character icon yet. So Veruca, I'll need you to roll. Okay, I'll try for this one. We'll figure that one later. Veruca goes up to do a performance check. So she goes up. She's classically trained master of many instruments, and she's just going up there confidently, a little tipsy. Look like she's gonna wow the crowd. She rolls a natural 20, so she plays. She sings many popular songs. She leads the crowd in a happy jaunty tune that gets them elevated. They're all pounding, and then she's definitely like sweeps it into a sad melody that pulls the tears from the crowd, and she brings it back into a hopeful song. And she's switching instruments each time between three, and it is stunned silence like at the end, and then just the crowd are just oh yeah. I think she is. Her props get more and more. Dang, I don't know if anyone else could. That was a nat 20. So yeah, you go up there, and then everyone else is kind of muttering like, "How are we gonna follow that?" And as you leave to take stage, there's a few more that come up there. I'm gonna do a few more people take the stage. I'm gonna see some rolls here. Wow, someone rolled a 1. Yeah, so the first guy immediately after, he goes up there and he is so drunk that he can barely stand. He's stumbling up to the stage. His friends kind of encourage him. They help and push him up there. And it's like, "You go, Rogvir, you go!" And he starts to just sing like an old miner's tale that it's off tune. It's barely in music, but everyone's loving it. Everyone's having a great time. And then as and then as you Okay, Braille. So you go up. Roll performance with disadvantage because you were drunk. You roll twice and take the lowest number. And take the lowest number. It's in your skills. Yes. So roll one more time. So we take the lowest, which is the 11. So you go up, and it's pleasant, it's pleasing. The drunk crowd really doesn't mind. They love the guy who rolled the one, so they're going with you. Uh, Veruca gives a little distasteful, like knowing that she outperformed that. Uh, and then the next person to stake the stage is this tall uh, woman in scales wearing thick plated armor, and she takes the mic and she leans forward and she says, "Good citizens of Penshaw, I need your assistance. We are looking for a group of thieves, criminals, practitioners of the darker arts. We are looking for a tall man with tattoos, a small child, a little girl traveling with him, two elves, and a human with brown hair. They may or may not have a bloodhound. If you have any information on the locations of these thieves, we would greatly appreciate it." And as she walks back down off the stage, so she walks off the stage and she goes, like, as you watch her walk over to what looks like another group, and it was, you can't believe you didn't see it before because but you were so kind of wrapped up in the performance. There stands a small group. Uh, there's the tall lizard-like lady in armor. There's a you didn't see him much because he was hunched sitting on the floor, but now that you look, it's a large ogre sitting down, kind of like with two little ale taps drinking. And there is a man in robes with kind of a pointed hat, and then a smaller halfling, kind of like sitting on a stool with a cowl, kind of like one of these, cloaking his head, where you can't much see him. And they put up a poster, and then they leave the tap. They leave the tavern. Okay, take the stage there. So while Jaku so Jakuba takes the stage while so Jakuba do performance roll two d20s, take the lower. So oh, that like Himalayan throat singing. Oh yo. All right, it's too hot for the DM robe. All right, so disadvantage, you're drunk. You think in your head this is how you're performing. Let's see how the rest of us think. You're more like, let's see, roll twice, roll twice. We'll see. We'll see if reality matches your expectations. And then Veruca and Brielle, Castamir, what are you doing during all of this? You are a little, Castamir, you are a little tipsy, but I'd say that you're usually pretty keen on keeping an eye out. So what are you doing during this? Okay, sure, we'll do that. So after Jakuba's throat singing, which is pretty good, everyone's pretty. It's a well, when his people would be proud, and they, and then while two of you go to look at the poster, Casimir takes the stage with a lute that he borrows from a passing uh, bar patron. I mean, yeah, however he decides to find a lute. So I'm gonna have you roll. I'm gonna have you roll because you're drunk. So you're drunk, so you have a disadvantage. But I'm gonna say for the role playing, you have an advantage on that, so they cancel out. So do a straight performance check. And now almost all of you, as two of you walk over, you see this wanted poster that's been slapped. Oh, it's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. And then as two of you are walking over to see this poster, it just says wanted, like right on it. And it has what is like immediately recognizable as your faces, but the features are all a little off. Like the nose isn't quite right. It looks like they gave your descriptions to kind of like a pretty good sketch artist who goes off of kind of like a police sketch artist. So everything's a little off, everything's a little different. Like Brielle definitely looks like just like a little girl. Uh, Jakuba's facial features are very like even more blocky than they are normally. They gave Veruca a wart, and and it says wanted. Maybe, yeah, maybe she does. It says wanted, 800 gold bounty. And as you guys, and as you guys are kind of like looking around at this poster, and Casimir and Jakuba have just gotten off the stage, and now that almost every one of you has taken the stage now, people are starting to glance at the poster and kind of do a double take and look around, and there's some low muttering going on around you guys. You get it almost you get it Yeah, you get it exactly right, and then you turn to look at the guy who looks at the poster and looks at you with the exact same expression, and he just kind of like gets this look, and he starts to slowly back away from the bar. All right. So now there's low mutterings, and there's kind of like the near the stage, everything's still very loud and boisterous, but there's a slowly expanding ring of kind of like awkward silence from where the poster is and where you guys are looking at it. All right. So the night's still going on. Yeah, the night's still going on. Veruca would be in the lead from like the level of cheers and applause from the crowd, but uh, the circle is slowly getting more and more like people are starting to back away and out of the bar, and then some people are kind of like getting closer to you guys. It seems like only like a tiny fraction because it's a very populous bar like is aware of kind of that interaction, but more and more people are. Okay, so you guys walk up. The barkeep does not really pay much attention to uh, like the proclamation or the poster. He's over there is still kind of like giving out the mugs and tickets. And so you guys walk up to him. The little gnome. He has kind of like green, spiky, tufted hair sitting on his stool. It's like I'll have to say it was pretty good, but we haven't given all the patrons a chance to perform yet. Hmm. Do a persuasion check, Jakuba. I'll say with advantage because Veruca's there helping you. It was a really good performance, yeah. I'd say he's a man to where he likes to let the process play out, so he's not totally. Let's see if you can bend the rules on him. All right, so we'll take that one. He's kind of looking at Veruca, looking back. He's like, and then a little tear he sheds. He's like, that was one of the best performances I've heard in years out here. Usually I just get the drunkards yodeling their miners' songs. He's like, all right. I'll need something to give someone, so I'll give you 180 of the pot, and I'll keep 20 for the runner-up. So that way I have something for the rest of the night. Hmm. I'd say that you could scramble. You could probably. It was up high because the dragon lady, the scale lizard lady in the armor was pretty tall, and she slapped it up so everyone could hear it. But if you wanted to try to like scramble up some bar stools, I'll say roll an acrobatics check with disadvantage because you're drunk. And the wanted poster was saying that you guys are thieves in possession of a dark artifact. Let's see the disadvantage. I want to see one more time. Okay, so I'll say that you stumble, you kind of clatter over, drawing some more attention to yourself as you climb up the bar stool and then you get on top of like the bar. You kick over the bar stool, you knock over some mugs as you're kind of like wandering over to it. You do end up getting it torn off, and there's just like a picture of Jakuba's face left, like hung up there, but you tear off most of it there. And you guys are. What are you doing? You guys, so Veruca, we're adding 180 gold to your inventory there. She can change her appearance, yes. I mean, no, I don't think so. Not on that. I mean, yeah, she can. Veruca can make people afraid of her. She can do the zone of truth, but I don't think there's any Jedi mind tricks yet. Yeah, there's totally Jedi mind tricks, but not quite yet. Well, he's like, okay, Veruca, I'll let you do a one persuasion check because he was intent to keep the 20 just to allow the rest of the patrons to win something because like the throughout the rest of the night. Now she is. I think she had a decent amount of money. I think she has 240 gold now. Yeah. Oh, I have to roll for Rook. I forgot we're doing persuasion checks. I forgot I'm rolling. Whoops. He's like, that was that was pretty good. But the runner-up was actually, and then he goes and he hands to Castamir the 20 gold because he rolled higher. And then he flicks a tip to Jakuba, and he's like, "I love uh, ethnic songs from around the world. We don't get much around here, so it's interesting to see." So so as you guys are still doing this, there's probably uh, I'd say a lot of it's still kind of like this kind of the drunken haze. So a lot of people are still kind of like when they're doing the double takes on you, they're looking over their ale. Some are trying to be more conspicuous about it. But all right, do an intimidation check with disadvantage. You're drunk. Yeah. All right. No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good intimidation there. So you kind of like they're looking at you and you give them a kind of thing back and they're reconsidering whether or not it's worth their while. Yeah. All right. So what are you guys doing now toward those of you who are aware of the wanted poster and kind of like the growing circle of rumors? Well, as you look at the poster that Brielle kind of unfurls, it says that you are thieves in possession of a dark artifact. It's the one that you remember the zombies and the blighted forest and all that? It's it says that too. It says that you are thieves and torturers, like criminals, murderers. Yeah. That was last session. And Brielle, remember you guys got the 3 platinum buttons as well as the old worn lucky coin. So sure. And then okay, so then Veruca and Jakuba are starting to leave the bar. What is Brielle and Casimir doing? And Dominique is kind of Dominique just sends to vanish. You guys kind of like look one way, and she's there, look another, and she's off doing mysterious ranger things. I'm gonna see how he reacts. I'm doing a check. I rolled the check for him. Yeah, dude, I want you to roll. Do a yeah persuasion check against the roll that I did here for this guy. Just I want to see if he's freaked out or not. You have to beat a 15. Oh, disadvantage. One more time. One more time, disadvantage. You're drunk. I know. We'll see. Let's hope you're lucky twice. That's a lot. So you pull out pockets of insects and you're just kind of mumbling under your breath. You're like, these will serve you well. Yes, and you're putting and there's like termites and like spiders. And he kind of jumps up with his little grin and he screams and he gets a magic fly swatter that sizzles with fire and he starts flailing around. He swats some of these bugs and he like knocks over some ale and he starts a small fire. And some of those he pulls out a little fire extinguisher he's putting down now, kind of like the crowd's still singing over here. A few more have kind of like drawn and they're looking around at your guys' directions. And you guys kind of hustle out of the bar. Casimir, what are you doing? Casimir stumbles out. Yeah. It seems like a small fire, and they're putting it out, but it did draw like the attention to you guys. And Castamere, you're still holding the loot. You've kind of forgot to return it, so you just kind of came away with the loot from one of the bar patrons that lent it to you. So you come out of the street, and you actually see now uh, Veruca, the only one who's not too tipsy, gets to like look around and sees those posters are now kind of like plastered every like 50 yards or so. You see a poster here, and then you see another one put over here on this wall, and it seems like they're really kind of putting you guys out there. You see, there's quite a few of them. It would take you some time to take down all of them. You could try. You puke on the bar. You throw a few more termites out, and you're like, yes, slowly destroy the business. They'll have such structural damage. It'll be repairable. It'll be. Yeah. So you guys make it out kind of. Yeah. On the poster too. On the poster, there's like a sketch of a bloodhound, kind of like a cartoon bloodhound. Because Brielle was a dog, so they were saying that they could like they said that they may or may not be traveling with a dog. Yeah, it's a gold. He gave you one gold for it. Oh, yeah. Do a quick perception check. Ah, true, true. So as you kind of like look around with your keen elven eyes, it's hard to see. Kind of like it looks like kind of an empty street. You don't really see anybody. You see like a couple drunkards outside the bar, but they don't. They look like they might do some stuff for gold, but probably wouldn't be very good at it. Does anyone else? That's what I was having you do. Anyone else want to like assist in something? Yeah, try a nature check really quick. Let's see if there's some squirrels around here. I'm gonna let everybody try one thing, one little idea for this. So Jakuba and Castamere, you could do animal handling. This is just to see if there's squirrels in the area. So yeah, you actually see like there's like a squirrel and there's a few raccoons that are like rummaging around in a trash can, and they kind of come up. They are trash pandas. Like seems like a little family. There's like dad, mom, three little babies. And Brielle's like still a little drunk, and she's like muttering to these kind of raccoons, and still kind of like irping a little bit. And with that, and each raccoon kind of goes boop 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 with their hands out. You did buy a bunch of vegetables, I think, at one point, didn't you? You did buy a bunch of vegetables. So you give them each carrots, and they kind of look at it and like a little. Yeah, they're looking for. They're a little more. They're some of them seem satisfied. Yeah. So the mom and dad kind of give like a little salute. They run off. Yeah, they eat whatever, but the one of the babies sits there stubbornly and throws the carrot on the ground. And while Brielle while Brielle's having this interaction with the raccoons over there, as a few of the raccoons kind of scurry off, and they start like scrabbling up the fence posts, jumping on trash cans, and you can see them kind of just causing mayhem as they're taking down the posters, but also ripping off anything that is like cloth. They're tearing off like tapestries and any signs. They're kind of like just kind of causing some mayhem in this row. And Jacob and Castamere, you still have something if you want to try to do something about posters. You could do yeah. So each person has to try something different for these. These are called skill challenges. So Veruca already did a perception, so you'll have to try a new skill while you're looking for them. So I'll let you do a yeah. You could do an investigation as you're kind of like looking and trying to piece together. And Jakuba, do you try anything? Oh no. Do an intelligence saving throw. Yeah, Cody, roll an intelligence saving throw. Oh no. You think you might have seen them like around. They look a little familiar. And Castamere, as you're looking around, you're not able to like there's no distinct signs of any like couriers or like none of the symbols or signs in this area seems to be in the territory of any organized crime. Oh, maybe. What was the other thing? Everyone tries their one thing, but okay. I'd say that the posters with these rolls, the posters stay up for the night, uh, except for the raccoons. The raccoons are trying to like take some of them off, and I didn't do anything. You guys rolled really low. Oh man. So I'll say that there is yeah. So you intend to look to talk to the washerwomen, thinking also maybe you could kind of like get some of the kids involved, kind of like get the. But as of now, there doesn't seem to be any. You do pay the drunk people like a few coppers and tell them to go and kind of take some of the posters down. And they're kind of like looking at you and they kind of lazily are kind of stumbling around taking a few, but they don't seem very effective at it. And so yeah, what are you guys doing? You've kind of racked your collective minds for because as of night it's nighttime. It's pretty deep night. That's the thing is it's like so it's everything's closing down. It seems to be probably like 9, 10ish, and you've lost your place to stay for the night. So as you guys are kind of like looking around, uh, yeah. So you're trying to look for another place to sleep. Where are you trying to look for? Are you trying to look for another inn, or you're trying to look for just any place to crash? Yes. Nope. Same town. Town of Penshaw. It's like a. It's kind of a bigger. It's almost like a like mid city, not like big bustling thing, but kind of like a bigger kind of city place. So there's a few of everything. Yes. Uh, you do remember to where he's probably not there at the tavern, but you do remember him saying that he actually uh, had a place at the kind of like the halfway house. Remember? Um, yeah, because at a place where kind of like lower income people can just kind of like be put up out of charity or for some small amount of money. Kind of a medieval Section 8 housing. And Baruka, you recognize too, that's what the washerwoman had mentioned that the. I wrote her name down here. Yeah, she's also staying there. Lavina. Oh, so yeah, it's a new thing we tried to work just for random dudes. Because if I'm like, you fight 8 goblins, or if you fight three thugs, they're just kind of generic guys that I can pull really quickly. But like Dungeon Master Brain has to do a lot of like behind the scenes working and manage like 8 NPCs and all that. So you guys have 4 brains against my one. So instead of having me to just figure out like unique descriptions for each one of these random dudes, they're just random. Uh, you guys for these guys, like when it's your turn to fight with them or do something, you can give one like a very quick like one sentence. Uh, uh, so did it fix itself yet? I'm back. Yay! Okay. So for random characters, like random, if I'm just gonna pull like 8 goblins to throw at you, or just some like street thugs or something, they're not important. They're just kind of like generic bad guys. Uh, I have 1 brain and you guys have 4, and Dungeon Master has a lot of behind the scenes things to work with. So we're gonna do a thing where instead of me having to figure out descriptions for them, or just saying Goblin number 7, it's better if you guys, as you're fighting them, give a quick like one sentence or one little descriptor, very brief. Just maybe you say this one has a mohawk, or this one has an eye patch, this one has a big green beard. Just kind of a descriptor, because that lets it works for combat better because you guys, instead of attacking goblin number 6, it's easier to remember, oh, the goblin with the mohawk is over here doing this. So it helps kind of get in our heads a better scene, kind of like a better way to kind of frame the scene in our minds. I'm good. I thought I was having Lindsay internet here for a moment. Okay, so yeah, just kind of a side note for the rules. So for some things, I'm going to ask you guys to describe what you see, because it allows you to be part of the world building. So sometimes if I don't have something explicitly planned, you guys can take a little bit of creative control for it, and it helps bring you guys in. And it's 4 brains against one, so it helps kind of like make that. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It works, and it makes combat work better because it's easier to hold in your head like a mental image of a goblin with a mohawk and an eye patch than goblin number 6. So you guys are kind of like out, realizing that you guys have no place to stay for the night as you guys have left, but you are now, or at least Veruca is, full of coin, and the rest of you too. You guys are pretty wealthy. Remember that 1 gold piece is $100 worth of like kind of like for reference money. Yeah, so you guys have a decent amount. The adventurer's life can pay pretty well as you're risking your life and limb. So you have a decent amount of money. The town is starting to close and get sleepy and wind down. You know that the halfway house is where Karg, the orc that Brielle was talking to earlier. Yeah, so Karg is over there, as well as Veruca remembers that Lavina, the original woman who sent you on the quest, who you've never met yet, is also probably staying there. Okay, so I'm gonna have. I'm not sure if you guys will even be able to find it because you guys don't know where it is explicitly. It's more of a tavern. It's not really like an inn. People seem to come. They don't spend too much time there. You could probably find a stable. They're actually, you know where a stable is because Brielle left her horse at one. Do you guys have a meeting planned for her to meet up tomorrow, or are you guys just gonna wander off and like in separate directions? Yeah, well, Okay, so you're gonna look to try to like pawn some of the buttons there, and then see if you can find like through connections a place to stay. All right, so we're gonna we'll have Jakuba. You know where the horse is. You're stumbling there. Uh, so you get there, you just splash your head in there, and like the water level visibly drains. It goes from the horse trough, and then you just kind of like curl up and plop next to a horse, like a horse sitting there. It like regards you briefly. What was your horse's name, Brielle? I forget. Mitzi. I think it was different, but Mitzi's its name now. It was a boy. Yeah. So the horse of many names regards you, Jakuba, and you actually see you before you pass out, you see its mane is really brushed. It seems to be well taken care of, and your last thought is like, this must be expensive to house a horse here. And then you pass out there, and hoping Brielle has enough coin to get the horse back. Castamere, as you go into the wounded rogue, they kind of like let you. Uh, you being a guild member, they kind of like have the bar's not open with card not being there, but you're allowed to kind of like knowing that you kind of like knock in a pattern, and they let you in through like a little side thing that you've seen before, and you're able to get in, and we'll have you do a quick couple of rolls. Do a just like a persuasion check really quick. So they're kind of haggling, and then they want like they'll sell you the buttons. They're platinum. Each platinum piece is probably worth 10 gold, but they want their cut for the guild, so they're looking at you and they'll give you 15 gold for it. They're kind of like talking about how you haven't paid your dues in a while, and the guild is owed. And then Veruca and Brielle, you guys are making your way looking for this halfway house. Um, I think Veruca, it is, it's halfway between everywhere. Veruca, I think you did remember from the washing women kind of told you a general direction. So you're kind of like leading the way as Brielle's kind of drunkenly mumbling about how like you'll love Karg when you'll meet him. He's a great cook now after the stuff she showed him. And you come to this kind of like it is kind of like a squat housing, uh, and it seems like you see people trying to like you see like some small kids running around. They're not they look clothed, they look fed, but they're wearing kind of like old, ragged clothes. They're kind of like running, and the parents are calling them back inside for the night. And you go in and you see a bunch of like little squat dwellings, kind of like with single doors, maybe like a little candle in the windows that are being snuffed out for the night. And that is what you guys see. So you're just drunkenly like yelling out, and you see some angry mothers kind of like popping their heads out of the windows, kind of like shushing you. And I'll do a little roll here. Oh yeah, I rolled really well there. So Karg pops out, and he's wearing like a little nightcap, and he pops out, and he's just like, "Who's doing all that goddamn shouting out here?" And he sees you, and he's like, "Oh, the little one with honey." And you guys are kind of like, he just stuck it in his mouth. Wow. With the honey in your prior conversation, he's just like, "Yeah, okay." And he looks to Veruca, and he's just like, "Ah, I remember you. You went down the back door." He remembers you from the previous tavern. He's like, "I could probably find some place. It's not very much room." He goes in, and it's like kind of a total. Think of a man cave, but also plus an orcish man cave. So it's very it's It's very bare bones, very like kind of messy. It's just like a single like just a it smells pretty pretty musky in there. And then so you guys crash there, and the night will pass on, and you've all found your respective sleeping uh, places. Casimir, they don't normally house other people, but for guild members, they're able to find like kind of like a bunk for traveling guild members in there. And so the morning comes up, and you guys all kind of boom. Okay, we can do a bathroom break. I also can't be on too much. I'm gonna try to end it in by like 10:30 my time because I do work early tomorrow. So that's kind of what we're aiming for. All right, I'll be right back. I'm back. What does that even mean? What is a Trinell bladder? Wow. Okay, so you wake up in the morning and just past that. So Jakuba, you wake up and there's just a horse like nuzzling you, like licks your face, awake, kind of. Yeah. All right. And all right, so Jakuba, as you're making your way back to where was the meeting place you guys decided? Okay. Jakuba just stands up, just lets out this. uh, it looks like so Mitzi is unfazed, being used to this, but a couple of the other horses are starting to try to like neigh and get out of their stables. You do an animal handling check, so and then I think it was Karg. Okay. So you leave this little note for Karg, uh, and you find both of you have been tucked in very nicely, like in your little uh, corners that you decided to sleep in. And you leave, as you leave this kind of like the halfway house area, you find just like a bunch of kids kind of swarming around, people who look down on their luck. They look like they've seen better days, but they don't look like totally destitute. They're kind of coming out and starting to go about the business. Veruca, you see a couple of the washerwomen kind of like doing up their hair and the white things, trying to head off to work. Yeah, you can talk. Some of them, yeah, they take it eagerly. There's a couple of them that are still like vegetables, like the raccoon, but most of them are pretty happy and glad to get some vegetables. I just okay. Roll a persuasion check. This one's gonna be a little tricky. True, true. Okay. It was a one. So you're they look at you like you're crazy. They don't want to get caught up in any of this business, and you come off really creepy, just being like, "I got things to give to your kids." Like, money definitely talks though. So like if you're so as the parents are kind of like shushing you, you see a couple uh, poor looking kids. They look a little less taken care of, kind of like they heard. Well, you guys are already on a list, to be fair. Yeah, because everyone knows that's the surest way to a kid's heart. All right, so you do all right. You do a performance check. Performance check to see if you can blend in with kids. Performance is like you're trying to act childish. Yeah, act like a kid. And Veruca, so the mothers are kind of like shying away from you, but a few orphan kids kind of come up. Okay, so you're kind of like, hello, fellow kids. And they totally buy it with the vegetables. So the vegetables. So you're actually able to get the parented children kind of seem to come over. They're kind of like a little nervous. They don't really like not used to being away from the nest kind of thing. They're sticking to their mother's sides. Veruca, you've called over kind of a few little orphans, and they don't care how creepy you seem. They they heard the call of them. They mentioned you. You said something about money, and you jangled your little coin purse, and so they come in there. And how much are you gonna give to these kids? Yeah, that's what she's going for. I could see her going for Hocus Pocus. So what are you? You could have done that too. Hindsight's 2020. Yeah. So you're over there just kind of like, yeah, you kind of gather over a few orphans, the bulk of the children, but like a few, maybe like three or four of them. And how much money are you dropping here? And then this kind of like scrappy kid with poofy hair, he's missing a tooth. He's like, they're like, I get more from that begging on the streets, lady. He has kind of like a little Boston accent, I guess. He's just like, now you're talking, and he sees though he's eyeing your much fuller coin purse. I'll find out. We're gonna roll for him. This is an insight check, so he gets to see. Okay, he sits there and he's this is him kind of like getting a read on you, judging your character and all that. And he's like, it's some easy work for some silver. So he's like, come on, guys. And then a few of them they take your silver. Each one of them takes a silver, and then the leader guy takes two because he drives a hard bargain. And then they start scurrying off, and you see them taking down the posters. Some of them. So they're working on the posters. You have two of those. And Castamere, what are you doing? Okay. So you kind of like make a poster, kind of like the quest posting right alongside the rest of them. You set up some contacts, and you agree to have a runner sent to you as soon as someone finds out something. And then I'm going to have some little investigation checks on the back from these guys to see if they find some stuff. Okay. So you put up the quest, and they're going to send a runner out to you as soon as they find something. And Jakuba's still at the horse stables, like roaring. His animal handler's like was pretty good, so now the horses are kind of shying. He's intimidated the horses into submission over here. Wow. You have the lowest persuasion. Don't make it a competition. Yeah, don't make it a competition, Cody, because She has, yeah, she has B children. Yeah, wow. Yeah. So Veruca has a ton of gold. She can magically disguise herself, and she has a charisma of 17. So, so if you want to make it a competition, Tsukuba. Yeah, Veruca, she could make that face and still. So she disguises self, and then behind it, she's like. So yeah, exactly. What are you guys gonna be doing? Because so Veruca, you remember at the halfway house, that was where Lavina, the woman who originally gave you the contract, was staying. No one's ever contacted or found out anything about her. Castamere is getting some information on your pursuers. Okay, so do a, I'm gonna do a persuasion and an investigation check for you as you're kind of like asking around, talking to the people looking for it. Does that that'd be a hard? Yeah, you could ask. You ask. So she would have been a little, yeah, probably like 4 here. So you could ask around some. If you want to ask the kids, you can ask for Lavina. Oh, that's a performance check. Shoot. Okay, we'll still say that. That works for your charisma. So you're like asking around some of the like people, and you're able to kind of like some of the mothers still shy away from you with their kids from the original, but some of the others kind of like you're asking some of the men there kind of asking around, and they point you in the direction of they're like, yeah, Lavina, she's right over there. She has her, well, she kind of keeps to herself mostly. Her kid's probably running around out here though. The kid plays with the other children, and so you kind of like directed to where Lavina would be. And Brielle, as you're kind of asking around the kids, you find a little girl who says like, "Yeah, Lavina's my mom," and she has kind of big, bushy red, kind of curly hair and like really striking green eyes. And Lavina, as you find Lavina, kind of like you kind of like knock on the door, and someone strikingly similar kind of pops up, big, bushy, curly red hair, striking green eyes, kind of answers the door, kind of pale skin with freckles, and then she's like, "Who are you? Who's asking?" And she kind of like gasps a little bit and like looks around, and she invites you in kind of discreetly, and she sits down, and she's like, "So they actually got it. They they're getting someone to do it. You're gonna expose him." He's like, she kind of laughs a little forlornly, and she's like, uh, "I know he's a irredeemable gambler. He inherited great wealth, had a bunch of inherited money, but just kind of squandered it over the years, uh, just gambling it away. I know he sneaks out to do some illegal gambling, and now that I look back, he was probably sneaking out on me too. He likes to take his carriage ride around town. I'm not sure where he goes from there, but I'm sure there's others like me. I can't be the only one." It's like, I don't know about kids. He was never very uh, particularly safe about things, though, so there might be. It's like, no, it's just kind of like a park. I just know he takes every day his carriage ride, and then I'm not sure. The carriage goes in and the carriage comes out twice a day. Yeah, it was like 3 gold and a family heirloom. Well, I don't know. Veruca has all the gold. So, You actually see. You can actually. Am I frozen? Am I frozen? Hello? Do I exist? Do I exist? Am I here? Okay, cool. So you actually see as you're talking to her, like before you even ask to catch her eye, it's like a you see it like a necklace that seems very well made, and it kind of is. It looks like an intricate knot of metal uh, with like a pearl in the center and what looks like uh, sculpted wings, kind of like coming out and kind of like furling around it. So it's like three wings kind of encircling this pearl in the center. She kind of catches you looking and she blushes a little bit, and she's like, "Yeah, I didn't have much money to offer, but this has been passed down for years, and it's all I have left that's worth much." She's like, I saved some gold so I can provide a good living for my daughter, but I'm sure it's not worth much. She's like, I'm sure it's not worth much. It's just some bauble that my great grandmother had. She kind of was like, well, you'll still do it. It's really important to me that he gets his, like, it just, the king's been sick lately and his niece is gonna marry him, and it burns me up to think about him swindling her, the royal family. But you say you're still gonna do it? Do a persuasion. I'll roll persuasion. That was a one. So she's like, it wouldn't be right. Maybe afterwards. But that's the thing is like you said, money can buy a lot of stuff. So it depends on like what you're. She looks pretty modest. So, uh, but what are you offering? We'll see if money can change a role. She's like, oh, that's. I'll let you roll one more time, offering 5 gold. Okay, at that one, she's like, but you swear to me, and she looks you in the eyes, and it's really piercing. You're kind of like struck by the intensity in her expression, and she's like, but you swear to me that you'll still do it. She's like, okay, okay then, that'll set my daughter up for for much better. And she does. She takes off the necklace and hands it to you, and then you give her the 5 gold. Yeah, I do think you had an identify spell, but it takes some time. So yeah, you could just burn it right now if you wanted to. Uh, so as you hold it, you kind of like you cup it in your hands and kind of like you're like looking it over, and you kind of put it in your pocket. But as you're doing it, you're kind of like uh, getting an insight into the magic on it, and it actually has the ability to cast Shield of Faith, which gives you extra kind of like almost like good luck against damage. It's just like an extra things seem to miss you that otherwise wouldn't. But as you're looking, I'm gonna have you roll an Arcana check because there seems to be something a little hidden to it that your spell is having a hard time breaking through. So it's a religion check. What was it, religion? Oh, that was a really good one. Yeah, so the religion check, you see it's actually in the symbol of kind of like an ancient, uh, kind of like an ancient religion that was worshipped a while back, and then you recognize it in your travels. And this symbol is a symbol of kind of like their version of the angels, and it has the shield of faith on it. But if you administer the pearl to someone, it will disintegrate the amulet and then bring someone back from the dead. It is a revive. Uh, as far as you know, not in a zombie way. It's a yeah, yeah. It's I'm a dungeon. I'm literally. It's contractual that I say that. That sound. I don't even. We'll see. I don't know what'll happen. I'll have to think about what'll happen with that. But yeah, it seems to be a one-time use. You can use it for a while using its other extra shield of faith, but if you destroy the amulet, you may revive one person, bring them back to life from death. And so she kind of like directs you. She's like, "Thank you." She takes and she folds the coins in kind of her little like apron pouch, and yeah. So you get the amulet, and if you're still intending to do the quest, you guys can, or you can skip town if you want. All right, honorable. So we'll say for expediency's sake, you guys did have a meetup point, so we can like you guys all meet back at kind of this the wounded rogue, knowing where it is, kind of in like a backer alley. But Jakuba, I need you to roll a stealth check really quick because as you're walking by, you actually see the ogre from the party before. He kind of standing near the stables. They almost like left him near the stables like a horse. And he's just sitting there like with his big like, ugh. And his beady eyes are kind of like keeping a bleary lookout. Yeah, stealth check. Okay. Okay, with that, we'll say you're able to. So his bleedy, like beady little eyes are like looking one way at the horses, and so as you kind of like come out, the horse is winning. You kind of cause a ruckus with the horses with your weird neighing sounds. The ogre doesn't know what a horse really sounds like, so he's like, this checks out. So you're able to kind of like yeah. So he's kind of like looking in the direction of the horses as you see him, and you're like oh, and you kind of like creep all you kind of creep Scooby Doo style out the kind of like back end and able to circumvent the ogre as he's kind of like looking stupidly. Yeah. Yeah, the expression kind of seems to fit, but he seems a little more roundish than the square jaw. So you guys meet up at the wounded rogue, all of you, and yeah, so it's probably I'd say like 10 o'clock in the morning as you guys all kind of meet up here. What was your owl doing? Well, it did before, and it told you that it saw one person, one man, leaving the carriage when it stopped in the forest. Yeah, it did report back to you on that. Yeah. Okay, so you're wanting to go because I remember some of you were wanting to go into the noble area of town, and some of you were wanting to go in the forest. Is that still the plan? Or are you changing things up? Or yeah, I know. I know. I'm remembering. I know that. I'm seeing what your intentions are for all this, so how we're gonna play this out. Okay. So as you guys remember, because this is you discussing. So none of this actually happens because you guys are just talking about it. You actually have to say like, "I'm doing this in order to get to the goal." So this is where you guys are. You kind of take the lead. What are you guys doing? So So who's going to the forest? Because that was the plan to ambush the guy and then like have. But like Jakuba, yeah, Jakuba was going to. Yeah, you guys were gonna like stage an ambush and Jakuba was gonna fight you guys off. You actually did like a. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think you're all going to the forest there for that. Okay, so you're able to kind of make out the timing. It seems to be a pretty steady, as you guys are like making your way towards. It's kind of like a big central kind of like park in the nicer part of town, and some of it's more open, kind of like rolling place where you'd see like people walking dogs and just enjoying nature, and some of it seems to be more densely thicketed with like more wild where people don't seem to go much, and that's kind of where the carriage goes off into as Brielle's owl is looking from above and kind of reporting back kind of the scheduling. And it seems to be pretty consistent when this carriage goes in and out of this forest. And so you guys are going to the forest to stage this ambush, right? All right. So I'm going to need the three of you uh, to roll stealth checks that are hiding. Jakuba, you're just kind of hanging out in the open. True. And this is a group one, so the majority. Yeah. So you actually get the thing with the dice always win that, but two out of the three of you as a group succeeded, so you succeed. So uh, they kind of help you. You're kind of like the little. I don't think she has an invisibility cloak. That's Lord of the Rings, Cody. A sunflower, yeah, yeah, and the Highland Mountains. So the three of you are kind of like hiding off in the woods. Uh, Jakuba, you're standing out in the, kind of like in the open, visibly. Okay, because Jakuba doesn't hide. So okay, so yeah, so you're kind of you're looking like a ham. So so yeah, like an old gray slab of bacon. So the three of you are hiding. Yeah, the three of you, because you're gray. So the three of you are hiding in in the tree line, uh, and the carriage is rolling by as Jakuba's walking alongside of it. And the carriage gets too close to the point where the owl had said that he sees the guy depart, kind of like the deeper into the forest. And so it's like crossing where you guys are, the three of you. The carriage is starting to come right alongside you. The carriage is starting to pass you. Okay. Okay. So you call something. All right. So let's do a animal handling check really quick and hope you didn't scare the horse into running her over. Yeah. 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 Okay. And you're getting into it. You're like the battle ahead will be fierce, and you're starting to get the intent of murdering your friends, kind of forgetting that it's a ruse. Oh, I didn't see the animal handling there. So you did the animal handling. I think she's still doing that. We're gonna let so if the people say they're doing something, we're gonna let it go with it so everyone kind of does their plan. Okay, so you're not convincing it being hurt, but the horse does. The horse kind of like comes to a stop. The carriage kind of rolls, and Veruca does a dramatic look, oh, like in front of it. And so the carriage kind of rolls to a halt, and there's the kind of the driver at the front is kind of like a small, reedy guy with kind of a cap and like dressed in kind of like nicer, kind of like tailcoat, and he's like, "What are you doing, Nelly? What are you? Kind of he's like kind of whacking at the horse, and the horse is kind of like looking into the woods where it heard you, then looking back at the guy. So the carriage stopped. And he's like, "What did you run someone over, Nelly? Not again!" And he gets off he gets off the carriage, and he goes over to look at Veruca. He's like, "Hey, miss, are you hurt? We're like, we're not paying for it. If you are." He's like he's like, "You look fine. I don't see he's getting you up," and he's like patting you down the dust. And he's like, "Look at you. You're talking. You're up and walking. You both." Okay, so you can do the. That would be the one. I think you do have that thing where you can make someone afraid of you. So you do that. All right, so I think he gets a saving throw. So we're just gonna see. No, he failed that. So as he's like helping you up and he looks into your eyes, you just project like your face takes on like seven different scary forms and projects it into his mind. Just kind of a horrible, grotesque, like disfigured. He's scared and he runs. Like this is an actual ability too. Yeah, he's really scared. I'm a little scared. It's very successful. It's working. There's advantage on that roll. So he takes off. He takes off, and he thinks that he's maimed you, and also that you might be undead at the same time. So he takes off, and he's just running. He's running. He's like, ah, and he throws his cap off. He's like, the pay is not worth. He just runs out, and the carriage is at a stop, but the horse stopped, and the carriage driver is gone. What are you guys doing? Yeah. So yeah, you could do an intimidation check if you. So Castamere kind of like runs up and throws open the door as it stopped, just as the guy's kind of like he kind of like is starting to peek his head out, and he has kind of like he looks like a middle-aged guy, and he looks fairly handsome. It's kind of like but he has kind of like a few prominent features that kind of throw off the handsome expression, and like Zach Braff, I guess, to where it's like a few. To view it to where it's like he could be handsome if just a few things were put in place, but it's kind of like almost off-putting with uh, kind of like the shape of his crooked nose and kind of his like he looks a little like off his kind of like salted uh, like pepper hair, salt and pepper hair. And so Casimir throws open this, and as you're kind of like making the initial threats, he doesn't seem to be too. He's just like, "This is preposterous. Like, where's my driver? Who are you?" Takuba's like, "That's not the plan." And up to it, no, he rolled an 8, which is still so he's like he's looking kind of like he's more angry than afraid right now. He's like, "What is this? What is this interruption? Who are you?" Okay, So you just kind of like instead of intimidation check, uh, Amanda, you just kind of like immediately do an attack roll. Yeah, I'd say that still hits. So you just kind of like take your dagger and like as he's like asking you, you look him in the eyes and then just he hears like a thunk and like looks down from looking at you and sees a dagger in his thigh. Looks up, looks down. He's like, "Ah!" And then he kind of like goes. He kind of like starts to scramble back into the carriage and he's like, "Driver, driver, go, go!" The driver's gone. Yeah, the horse doesn't move. Yeah, it could. So if you hop on and tell the horse to kind of keep going, so the horse is kind of like, and now he's realizing to where like Castamir is in the carriage, his like things moving, but at a very slow trot, and he like looks out the little like window to see where the driver is, and he sees Brielle kind of like looking back, and yeah, little Brielle just looking back. She has the hat from the driver on, and she's like, "What is this?" It's like, what do you want? This is extortion. This is a robbery." And then he starts to be like, "Help! Someone, help me, please!" So, uh, I'd say Casimir. So this is planned. Are you just going with it? You did like a choreograph fight too. Yeah, yeah. There's a routine. All right, I want to see. And Brielle's still kind of moving the carriage along. I want both of you do performance checks as well as attack rolls. Okay, with advantage. Yes, because you practiced. I don't know what she's doing there. Uh, that's persuasion, but your performance, I think, uses charisma still. So you guys are actually like, yeah, those are pretty good rolls. So it does. It looks pretty convincing. As I want you and Casimir looks a little beat up too. So like whenever he takes it, he's kind of playing into it. He still looks beat up from the night before, so he looks kind of like playing into it. There's like a like as you kind of do like the little wrestler punch and he kind of moves with it. He has like a little like ketchup packet or something. He like. Yeah, you gotta. He puts you on the spot with a one-liner. Yeah. I'm watching Naruto right now, so that's good. I know exactly what that looks like. So, uh, and then he's like, yeah, I want to know what the. convincing curses. Grak! Sounds like a like grak, grak. So he still sees Brielle kind of like running. He's like, the driver, large man, the driver. And he's like, he's still pointing at the driver because Brielle's just. No, no, no. So he's telling you to be like, she's one of them. She's not my normal driver. Jakuba's coming. Briella, do you? Yeah, what are you doing, Brielle? I'm curious. Yeah, he's way up there. He's a solid 8 feet tall. Get out. That's a. You'll have to use the resurrection amulet immediately. uh, so yeah, Brielle kind of just is flailing, and she's making some kicks, and okay, so the horse starts to pull the carriage and turn it towards Brielle, and it actually cuts free. It actually kind of like the straps break. The horse takes off into the woods, and then I'm like, no plan survives first contact with Brielle. So it's a Donnell, and then he's Adelard. Well, you know from the thing. You might have forgotten because like the I don't think Jakuba pays attention to that. He's like, and he's still kind of looks at Dagger. He's like, you let them take the horse. He's like, well, how am I gonna get back? Do a persuasion with advantage. Okay, yeah. So he's like, so you know them? He's like, are you are your services for hire? His eyes. I know. Yeah. So he's like his eyes actually perk up a bit when you mention the 800 gold bounty. He's like, and you can see him start to think, and he's just like, with 800 gold, like, surely maybe I could maybe we could lure them out again, like maybe. And then he thinks of himself. He's like, maybe I could be bait. And then he's like looking down at his leg with a dagger in it. And he's like, better not, better not. He's like, okay, you just keep me safe, and then you can take care of them. And he's like, so you're working? He's like, you work for free. You just want them. You just want to take them and go. He's like, oh well, that's not very reassuring, but uh, and I don't like that you let them get away. And you let them get away with my horse. He's like, you get me home. Let me see how strong you are. You get me home. Okay, do a strength check. Let's see if Chakuba's never succeeded one of these. Okay. And it's actually athletics, I think, but that works fine. So you take it, and with that one, you're actually like you kind of heave the straps over your shoulders, and you start making a solid pace. You're kind of like just, and the carriage kind of like pops back a little bit, and he's as you're kind of like just taking like boom, 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 kind of through, and he kind of like looks at the spot where he normally like where you guys would normally you saw someone leave, and he's just like another day, and then so you kind of like take him back to his house, just boom, 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 and you actually have the orphans and the raccoons as they were taking down their posters. You guys directed them to focus like near this guy's house, so that way there's not many posters with Jakuba's face on them around there, and his war paint also disguises kind of like his face. Yeah, 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 because it was yeah, he tries a different face. He's very smiles. He's very business. He's like, yeah, all smiles, finger guns. Yeah, what's his? All right. So I'm gonna say as so Jakuba, you're successfully as you guys get back to the housing. He shows you kind of like a the guard room that you'll be staying, and and the rest of you, I'm not sure. Did you have a plan for how to get contact Jakuba? Jakuba, are you with no contact in there, or are you able to? Okay, okay, okay. So I think the way that this will work next time, it's tricky to where either we can do maybe like both Cody's in a solo session because like it's kind of is focusing the spotlight on them, or if Bridget and Lois, if you guys are cool with playing like spectator for a while and kind of letting them do that, because I don't. Yeah, if you guys have a plan to help out, you can do stuff. But I'm just saying to where whenever. Yeah, yeah. Braille's totally cool with being like, la da da, I'll do my own thing. So yeah, we could have like a little. We could have like a side plot there. It's just most of the focus to where I know a lot of players are like, I came to play the game, not to watch, so I don't want to like. But the situation you guys put yourselves in does have a very heavy spotlight focus on them too. So if you guys are cool with being mostly spectators, that's cool. Or all right, cool, we'll do that. All right, well I'll make sure I'll find a way so it's not you guys aren't just like sitting doing nothing. We'll have like some side work for you. Okay. Yeah, we'll say that you're kind of like looking around that way, and that I think is where we're end. Yeah, because it's 10:35, so we're gonna kind of like kind of end it there for that. And I do know that Veruca, you have a buttload of money, like so that could be a thing. Maybe there's some shopping, something you can buy. Yeah, because there is magic items like in the world, so maybe some money purchases some. Yeah, the necklace is actually crazy. I gave you guys like a really like the revive spell because D&D is one of those things where if your character's dead, you scrap it, put it in the graveyard, make a new one. So being able to revive is a pretty big deal. I mean, Jakuba, you tried a lot. True. And he's wild card, yeah. I think we'll also maybe try some of it through the messenger. I kind of like the idea of kind of rapid pacing some of it, so that way, because like I assume Jakuba's going to be there for a few days, so I don't really want to play out days of him kind of. So we'll try to rapid fire some stuff of what Jakuba might learn. And Cody, if you can just hop on roll 20 occasionally, I'll ask for a roll, and then I can just like check it. So we're going to try this over the course of the week because I've been wanting to do this anyway, kind of like a slow motion telephone game kind of thing where like I'll post a message and you can wait the whole day, you can respond to it tomorrow, and then it's just kind of like a slower game. That way we can get through some of the bigger stuff. I'm gonna put it in front of the group chat so everyone can kind of see what's going on. It is just you two. She does. I could try. I'll try Discord. Someone might have to help Lois like look into the Discord. That's pretty crazy though. That's pretty crazy. Mom is the master of water. I just imagine her down there. Yeah. She's just down there like sometimes being like I know. I just imagine I just imagine her down there with like the levers. That's I'm gonna post it anyway. Like well I'm gonna post it to Facebook and just we're used to group chats. You can just scroll past her stuff. Because I do want to try to entice her a little bit to see what's going on here. Yeah. So yeah, I have to go to bed. I wake up tomorrow. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, honestly, that's something I'm gonna try with her. Is I'm gonna try just because I did this with Marissa a couple times, just literally one on one to where like Dungeon Master player, and let's kind of like because I think it's also intimidating. Like you guys have kind of go some far, and she doesn't know how to play, so I feel like she's a little. I know, I know. So I'm gonna try to see if I can bring her up to speed in just like a small session like that, and then have her. Literally, she's gonna be a side character. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I felt fine doing it, and then the next day I was really sore. I luckily there was no work for that, and then today it's very sporadic to where like you text in at 6 in the morning being like I'm ready, and then you wait all day to see if they message you back. So that's kind of how it goes. Yeah. So I think tomorrow. Yeah, it's gonna speed up there. So I was supposed to only work 2 hours though. It was really funny because I was supposed to work 2 hours. Uh, the guy's route, he just looked back. He's like, yeah, I think a lot of the drivers are out sick with COVID probably. He's like, I got a crap ton of packages, and I look back there in the packages. Like, if you think UPS is nice and organized, it is not. It's just the packages are like like falling over. He like picks up a Vizio TV and he's like, nope, and he's like moving it. Like that's not the one. So he's like, I'm actually my training said not to talk smack about UPS on social media. So yeah, I know. I do upload these to YouTube, but they're private. So yeah, but he ended up keeping me a couple extra hours, and then he was supposed to drive me back to the meeting place of Target. Ended up driving me to the wrong Target, and we're like, oh, this isn't it. So he drives me to a Target 15 minutes away. It's another wrong Target. So he has to turn around and then go to a third Target 16 minutes this way. So half an hour of my time there is him just going to wrong Targets to drop me off. She's perhaps. I look one guy, it's just the guy at the UPS. I look again, it's Brielle with the driver's hat. Like, yeah, yeah. That is insane. Illinois is actually looking terrifying right now, and I'm literally getting beans. I know, but Illinois is not. You guys are fine too. Like you guys are, well, not fine, but relatively fine. Illinois is, yeah, top 10, and we had literally like we went from top 10 to where I think we had 15,000 in one day, which is broken a record for a day one state. So it's like I'm thinking of like I'm just getting beans. Like I only see one guy with a UPS thing, but I'm like we might just have to like hole up. I'll do a GoFundMe or something because I just want to sit inside for a few months if shit gets really bad because I don't know what's gonna start here. I'll I know. You had COVID at one point though, so hopefully you're immune, like yeah. We'll see that next summer. Yeah. I do think you're immune though, Bridget, because only small tiny people get reinfected and that's rare. Yeah. Yeah, I would just quick check. Yeah. Well, that's how it's because like Marissa's brother got it, and then just because she like saw him one day, her work is like, no, just because you had contact, you're out for 2 weeks, which is ridiculous because like the place she goes to get tested, she's waiting in a hospital room with a bunch of potential COVID positive people to get tested, and they're like, okay, you can come back to work, and that's she could have got it there at the hospital room. Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's ridiculous. No, I just have like this the same surgical mask that I use for days, and I let it sanitize in the sun on the roof of my car, like in the hood. The sun will cook it. Yeah, I need to get a nicer one. I know. I'm breaking out from the masks. Yeah, I need to get the other one. I got these like free ones they gave, but those are lame. Oh, the glasses don't fog? That's game changing. That's like yeah. So you should send me a link to that thing, so I'll look at that. And then yeah. It's just the driver. And like honestly, half the time the door's wide open. So Yeah. That sounds more fun because it's a blood sport. There's competition now. Like, yeah. Man, you're so gonna get COVID, Cody. You're so gonna get COVID, like traveling around competing. Oh, okay. Wow. Is there like prize money? Maybe you should find that out. I'm like, I'm like my karaoke. Yeah, like my karaoke competition had prize money, so like yours better have prize money. Uh, that's cool. Yeah. 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 All right. I'm. I think I'm going to bed here. So good night. Good night, everybody. All right. Good night.